Hey everyone, well it's Melissa with The Creative Season and we finished up our fruit and floral, but I wasn't quite ready to let go of the fruit before we start painting more floral. So this week we are painting lemons and leaves, and I share the story about these lemons in the slow video or the paint with me session, so do stick around. You'll only need 3 colors really today. You'll need a yellow, green, I use a Hooker's green, medium hue, and purple for our shadowing for both the green and the yellow. And I had so much fun painting this pile of lemons, and I am sure I'm probably gonna make lemon bars afterwards. These are just such a delicious treat for spring. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Paint With Me session. I'm Melissa and we are finishing up, well, we finished up our fruit and floral series last week, but I am not quite done with the fruit, I have to tell you. And so I have a story to tell you. I'll tell you as I start painting, but we're gonna do lemons and leaves. So no florals, we're doing leaves and lemons. And I have a bowl of lemons here and I've been sketching them. They're from my mom's lemon tree. And I did just a quick sketch. And again, we're still practicing this still life of looking at shadows and just really clean colors. I'll see if I can kind of put this back where it was. Well, not quite, but that's okay. I have my sketch out here and just looking at some shadows today. We're going to use yellow and green, really spring colors. As we move closer and closer to spring, I'll be using gamboge and cadmium yellow, and my favorite Hooker's green, and possibly a little bit of permanent green, but probably not. And also we'll be using a little bit of purple for shadowing. So I'm just going to make sure everything is good with the recording here, and we're going to get going with adding in. I'm actually going to start by first, I'm going to just do a yellow wash, and I'm going to just use cadmium yellow. Let me make sure you can see this okay. And I'm just going to start going in some really bright spots, leaving some white to show where the light's coming in. So for me, the light's all coming this way. I've got that window right in front of me, so the shadows are going to be down here. And yet the shadows are also created by the lemons on top of each other, right? So like these guys right down here, I'm definitely going to be adding a little bit of shadow there, and I'll bring that in a little bit closer. And I'm going to come over here. These are not Myers lemons like we painted a few weeks ago. These are, my mom and I were just talking about this. I've forgotten the name, but these are kind of more your classic lemons that you see inside the store. They're more of that, where we get the name yellow lemon. So they don't really have any orange in them per se. Okay, and this guy is interesting because he's got some shadowing under where the leaves are hiding it. But over here, it's gonna be really bright. So I can see quite a bit of shadow over here. And I actually wanna dip in my shadows rather quick today. So let me move that here. I'm gonna get some purple really quick and get that paint going. I'm gonna go ahead and just I have some dioxazine purple that I'm just going to touch down, and I think you can even see me, yep, over in the corner of my yellows here. And it's not like super dark. I'm not putting a ton of purple in there because I don't want this to look purple. I just want to take advantage of getting the shadows in. And we're going to come back and do some more with that as well. But again, looking at my lemons, where are the shadows? Again, not coloring it all in. We're leaving some of the white coming in right over here. But wherever you notice some darker colors, I've got a little bit down here, definitely more in these areas where the lemons are in shadow, either from the other lemons or from the leaves. I'm going to go ahead and grab just a little bit more purple. I know it can be intimidating to add purple or something dark, right? Especially to something as light as yellow. So I'm just going to dab that right in here. And again, a little bit more right in here where I really see some of those shadows coming in. And that's going to help create that look of roundness to our lemons. Of course, they're not round like an orange or a circle, but they have a lot of shape and we don't want them to appear flat. I'm going to come back now. I'm going to get just a little bit of I believe this is just a tad bit. I think this is a yellow cadmium medium. And I'm just going to put a tad bit over here because again, I don't want it to be purple. I want this to definitely be yellow, but just showing some shadow. So getting in a little bit more color there, and that looks really nice. I'm just gonna leave that for now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that green. Now in my branches, you can see here, there's a little bit of brown in these branches. And so I'm gonna probably end up putting maybe a tad bit of brown, but maybe I'll just use that purple yellow mix because that has a bit of that shadow. And I don't want too many colors. I'm trying to keep this really, really clean. So I think I am going to go ahead. I'm gonna mix a little bit more purple into the yellow. And I'm gonna go ahead where I see some of those pokies, I'm just gonna put with the tip of my round edge, I'm just, where that stem is, I'm just gonna add a little bit of that darker color. Okay, now I'm gonna get a thinner brush. This was a round tip. That was a size 11 I was using. I'm gonna go back to a round tip, and I think this is like a size 7, so it's just a little bit smaller, and that tip is nice and fine. And so I'm gonna pick up my green, and I'm gonna start laying down my green. So the story with these lemons is we've had a lot of bad storms, and my mom has this really sturdy lemon tree in her backyard. And one of the storms, it didn't completely take out the tree, but it like picked it up. It's not uprooted, but it like came out of the ground part way. It's very odd. And it was like leaning over completely, again, not completely uprooted. So my mom needs to get like a stake and pull it, like I try to pull it back up, but it is so heavy. And my mom lopped off a bunch of branches that had, because it had broken in the fall. So I went over yesterday and was basically cleaning up some branches, and I realized we had a bunch of lemons on those branches that had actually, some of them were like kind of still attached to the main tree. So I took the lemons off the branches, of course, and wanted to definitely salvage those. So I have a big old bowl of lemons now, and so does my mom. And oh, be careful when you go in here try not to let the yellow and the green touch. So if you want to let it dry, definitely do so. But I think it's definitely one of those situations where literally we're going to make lemonade from lemons. My mom loves this lemon tree. She was so disappointed when it fell, but also so grateful that it's not completely dislodged, but I don't quite know how we're going to pick it up and get it staked in. Because like I said, I cannot lift it up off the ground. And if you can see my curls dropping down to the camera, I hope you can't. Sorry, I'm going to pull them back in just a second here. Okay, I'm going to pull this. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush and just pull the green on the stem all the way through the brown, or that purple yellow mix, and up on here. Because the stem is interesting. It's green and just a little bit brown. And I was noticing, I was looking at the different branches, like the ones that were still connected, and I'm gonna make it green. It's in a green bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it green, and then we're gonna add some shadowing. Let me peek in here and making sure you can see. Okay, good, you can see the whole thing. I'll back it out just a little bit, but you can see even how it's nice, that leaf, and then the shadow here. I was really careful around this area of the lemon because I didn't want that green to fall into it. It's such a risk when we're painting like this. We're painting color right up against color, but again, I am often painting in the margins of life, and that's who I want to create these videos for as well, where you are too, you running to paint, you want to create, we want to finish what we start, but we don't have a lot of time, and maybe you have to pick everything up because there's kids or pets or dinner has to go on the table. I know for years I didn't have a dedicated art table, so it was kind of wherever I could find a little spot. So we have to take some risks as we paint, making sure to notice where there's some reflection. I'm going to go just on the outline of my lemons here, but I'm going to leave some white, and I can see more reflection over here, and the shadowing area is definitely more on this area. And I am going to add some purple into the green as well, but I'm just going to lay this down. So we're doing cleanup in my mom's yard right now, getting ready for the garden. She wants to have it planted much earlier, so last year was the first year in her home, and if you've been with me for a while, I created that garden series, and we painted all the way through my mom's garden last year, which was just so much fun. So much fun. I'm actually going to add a little bit of yellow to the screen because the bowl I have this in, it's actually almost has a nice yellow warmth to it. So we're going to just come on here, just really nice, adding some color. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to add a little bit of purple to a corner of the green and come back in, and just where I can see the darker shadow areas, I'm going to just drop that in. You can even take some purple if you wanted to, get a little water, and you can just dab it in here too. And then just let that color dance and move around. I'm not sure if you're really supposed to do that, but we're just having fun, right? I do see some shadows on the ledge over here where the lemons are covering up, so I'm going to go ahead and add that purple green right over there, and then a little bit over here. Oh, I think that looks really nice. And again, I'm leaving some white where I am seeing some reflections on the bowl. Okay, I'm going to pick up just a little bit more green and add it to where I see I want to create some more shadow, and definitely down here at the bottom. You can notice too, I didn't quite leave any space to do shadow on the bottom. I ran out of space. I realized I wanted to go up here. I'm going to add just a little bit of purple up here. But that meant I kind of ran out of room at the bottom with the 9x. So this is a 6x9. I realized I probably could create this on a larger piece of paper and it would look really nice as well. And I may do another one of these, a little bit more of studying my leaves and lemons. The nice thing about fruit is they often last a lot longer than flowers, but not often. I actually had a lemon go sour on me. In here, I was painting, and a few days later, I realized, oh goodness, my lemon is done for. It was definitely had turned on one side. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit more of that yellow in here. Oh, I have just a bit of green in there. That's too bad. You know what? I'm gonna actually just leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. Maybe I'll pick it up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna pick it up just a bit. Be careful to rinse out your brushes really well when going between green and yellow so you don't get any yellow. Maybe I'll just use my other brush. That's smart, Melissa. Into your green. Okay, I'm gonna come back over here, grab a little bit more yellow. There we go. Just really wanna make it pop. I'm gonna come back over here now, go a little bit closer, and we're just finishing up here. Isn't this fun? And this is so pretty. A little green got in there, but that's okay. This is so pretty. I noticed a little bit of green got into that lemon on the bottom, so I'm just gonna come back. We're gonna just go we're just gonna dab it, just like that, no big deal. I'm gonna come back in with my yellow here and a little bit of that shadowing and just come back in and lay that back over it. A little bit more right in here. Definitely want that pop. And then I think around, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a really light wash of the purple and yellow combined. Just super light. I'm even just gonna maybe just around here a bit. It's gonna be really a light wash. I could do some splatters, but I think I wanna just do a soft wash today. I'm actually gonna take that color and then just take water in my brush and then pull it down. Almost getting a nice soft backdrop. And if you need to, add a little bit more purple to your yellow. We definitely want it to kind of stand out, but I am just kind of loving the real bright and happy look that's going on here. And I haven't checked our time. My goal is to stay about 15-20 minutes. I feel like it's not even been that long with this one. Let me see. Okay, we're at 12 minutes. So yeah, this one's going pretty fast. And you can see here, now if you want to come back and do some more detail work, I can definitely add a little bit more shadowing into my leaves up here. So coming through here and just keep making it darker. And I can make this leaf actually a little bit bigger. Again, I'm going to add a little bit more purple to the green on the palette, and then coming back in up here as well and coming right down here. This leaf is definitely darker. And I can just pull that in. Just be careful that hopefully it does not get into your lemon. I got a little bit there. I'm not too worried. I'm just going to take my paper towel and just blot it out. Just like this. There we go. And then we'll let it dry, and I'll probably come back with a little bit of yellow, and I'm just going to squeeze it really up, not letting it touch that green. There we go. Then making sure to your lemons that are peeking up on the bottom that they have a nice yellow brightness to them, but then they also have a little bit of that purple in them too, right, to show that shadowing. So I'm just going to come back on this one especially and looking at where I can see that shadow. Definitely a little bit in here under this leaf as well. And then right down here where that stem was. This stem is actually just attached to that leaf. And that looks good. And I like that because it really creates that sense of the shape, the circle. I got a little bit over here moving into my lemon. So what I can do is I can wait till this dries. It's not too much. I can dab a little bit right now and let that go. And then at the end too, I can come back and grab a little bit of green and purple. You might want to let it dry first. And then I can come back up here. I'm going to go a little bit darker here, definitely darker here. Again, creating that contrast really makes for a beautiful piece. And then I can come right with the edge, almost like pen work, and just go creep, creep, creep. And please, it doesn't go into my yellow. Hooray. Hooray. Coming around here to show the edge. And I think I had shown just on this side, you can kind of see also the edge of the bowl. And I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of green right in there. Okay, I'm going to stop for now so I don't overdo it, but I think this is absolutely lovely. We painted that in about 15 minutes, which is really, really good. Yep, we just hit that 15-minute mark. Isn't that nice? Okay, you guys, I think this is absolutely lovely, and it's St. Patrick's Day week. So we've got our green, right? You can just hang this up. It's all the things. Spring, St. Patrick's Day. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you very soon.